evening. This is Lila's Corner, and I'll be reading from Dwayne's Book 2, The Real Journey to Freedom, and by Dwayne, the great writer of the wonderful Worldwide Educators. I happen to have a couple of very interesting guests on tonight. The first one that we're going to hear from is beautiful is Dwayne, and Dwayne will ask a couple of questions, and then he can introduce our third guest.
Well, actually, I'm Val. Dwayne had to go someplace.
Okay.
He had to go get some ice cream. So this is Val with Lila tonight. So how do you do, everybody? Yeah, so I'm going to introduce tonight. We have a very special guest, Claudette, and she's a seer from Texas. And she's very much an expert on the Orions and the Sirians. And she's had extensive experiences with these, what we can call them aliens, these other beings that are actually working with us and doing different things. Their technology is far advanced than the humans have, and they're of a particular, and Claudette has lots of experience with it. And one thing I wanted to ask Claudette about them, first of all, was, good evening, Claudette. Are you there?
Hello, yes, thank you.
Very good, yes. So, Claudette, you've had extensive experiences with these Orions. I understand. That's what the rumors tell us. And I was just wondering, could you tell us a little bit about their society and in particular how their educational system is set up?
Yes. It's different than what we have on Earth. On Earth, we have a more formalized agenda for children. They start very young, usually around 5 or so. I'm going to guess in most countries, and like pre-kindergarten, and then advance through grades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then through high school 9, 10, 11, 12, and then college, and then work after college to pay off your loans. In the Orion situation, they are a different type of creature. The Orion situation is more of a mental society. They look like, because of their body shape, they look like geckos, or those little lizards that you see running around the windowsill in springtime. They have that type of body with a gecko head. And the thing is that they do not speak because they have no vocal cords, but they can make a squeak. And that's how they can make a sound. But again, they do not speak. But they talk to each other through mental telepathy. When an Orion wants to send a message to someone, they just think of that person, and they send their thought wave or thought form straight to that person, and that person receives it. We have had mental telepathy capabilities on this planet, but we have not developed them or made that a major part of our life. But that's the way the Orions work. They have a society built on a monarchy. There's a queen, or there was a queen. She got put in the Phantom Zone for the crimes she committed on this earth. Her crimes have been led to our present-day situation of pollution in the air, in the water, the food we eat, because she sent her son, Enki, a million years or so ago to grab this planet's resources. And they were desperate on the home world because it had been destroyed from a 10,000-year war with the Syrian population. Now, when you think of a gecko, you've got to realize they're a different body form than we are. They are over 300 feet tall, and they're over 2,000 pounds in weight. They're huge creatures. To them, we are little bugs to be stamped out or squished or eaten. That's one of the things that we are suffering from right now on this planet. Over thousands of years, they have been in control on this planet and giving us false information. The son, Enki, of the Queen of Orion, came here and violated spiritual law by changing our DNA. They have made us very well genetically manipulated organism. We were the smartest on the planet at the time that Enki, her son, arrived here, and he found what he came to hoard later is that there was white powder gold in the Tigris-Euphrates Valley, and he knew that this gold could be sent back to his home world and could clean up the atmosphere that was so destroyed from the war. The thing is that this entity, he was very clever, but he was also very greedy. He didn't want to send the gold back to his home world to help his mother, the queen, and he decided to keep it. Well, the queen got suspicious of why he wasn't in contact with her more frequently, so she sent his older brother, Enlil, to Earth to find out what was going on. So Enlil came to Earth and found out what Enki was doing and that he was hoarding this gold. So Enlil, instead of telling his mother what he was doing, Enki was doing, his brother, his little brother, he decided to keep part of the gold for himself. So the two brothers split the earth. One got one half and the other one got the other half. And they started sending more supplies of food or vegetables back to the home world. But that wasn't enough to feed these giant creatures. So they started sending cattle. Every kind of protein they could find on this planet they sent home. And that changed the body shape of Enki and Enlil and all of the Orions in the Orion constellation. They became meat eaters, and it changed them. They lost their ability to reproduce. So they started doing dastardly deeds here on planet Earth. Enki went in. He was a brilliant geneticist. He changed the DNA and the codons in our DNA cycle and gave us the ability to reproduce at will on this planet. So that's how monkeys became more and more baby factories to produce workers, slaves, to harvest the plantation and to dig for the gold on this planet. So thousands of Earth people were changed from monkey to a more intelligent monkey. And now we have developed, I'm going to say the word developed, into what we are today. We all have one thing in common. Our DNA is linked to the DNA of Enki, because he started the first one. And down through the ages, all of us carry that DNA. That's one of the things that happened with us in our blood types. The blood types that we have now came directly from the genetic manipulation of our genes thousands of years ago. As to the society is built upon what the Queen gave as an edict or command, and it was done during a 10,000-year war with the Syrian population from the constellation Sirius. This changed both of the empires, it changed their whole lifestyle. The Orions became more aggressive, and they also had technical abilities far beyond anything we can possibly imagine. They're so far above us, it's almost impossible to imagine. And one thing for sure that the Orions can do is that when they mentally connect with you or they speak to you, they can change your thought forms and your idea of what is real or not. They lie to you without having a care because they don't consider you equal to them. You're just cattle. And so would you go out and talk? Hello?
May I interrupt? Just for a second, Claudie?
Yes.
Claudie? May I interrupt you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, I can. Oh, that's fine. I just have a question. If they can't reproduce, how do they get to? It takes two to tango, you know. How do they get? Where do they? And they can't reproduce. That means no more bedtime for couples.
Yes.
And if they have no more time for couples, then they couldn't really appreciate a man and woman. They'd all be just one sex. Is that, or if there's a man and woman, do the men respect the women, and the women respect the men? I mean, it just seems so much depends upon their reproduction. You know, I mean that's the feelings of love and all. Of course, that's where you get stuck. But what about all this?
Okay, to answer your question briefly, they do not have the capability to reproduce anymore because their body shape changed when they started consuming meat products. And so as it changed, they lost their ability. So they went out, the queen told her son to find something to help them increase their population. So the son, Enki, went and took some monkeys from Earth, changed them, their body form, harvested an egg from a female monkey and sperm from an Orion male, and joined them in a test tube in a laboratory, which is what Enki could do. He was a geneticist, a brilliant scientist, and he knew what he was doing, and so he made hybrids. These are hybrid babies were produced recently in this century from women on Earth, and they were inseminated with a male sperm from Orion and with one of their eggs. And these were placed in the woman's body, and the baby from this union took about 8 weeks to come to almost full term. And so women... Yes?
Yeah, yes, Claudia, but you know, they did that for the humans, and they did that for the monkeys. But, you know, there are many, many aliens out there. How did there get to be so many if they couldn't reproduce themselves? Or were they happy at being half monkey and half human? I mean, you know, what happened to their own race? They can't reproduce, you know, their own selves. So, you know, they will die out then.
Yes,
the true reptilians will eventually die out. You know, there'll be a hybrid monkey and a hybrid us, and how I don't think they'd be very happy with just themselves.
No, they were not.
I don't know. What have they got in mind? Do you happen to know or surmise?
all I can tell you is that the Queen of Orion ordered her son to increase the Orion population. And he did this by making hybrids. That's half Orion and half of whatever species he changed. There were bird people Orions. There were alligator-looking Orions. There were cat or feline-looking Orions, dog-looking Orions. He changed the DNA of many species so that they could have slaves. That's what they wanted. It was not a free population or a free lifestyle. They were all slaves, and they were used for various jobs, to dig in the mines, to operate the mining equipment, to harvest the fruits and vegetables on the farms on other planets and other worlds. But they were all slaves. They were captured, and these things were happening. Now, Earth women the Orions were capable of taking them at night, and that's why you heard about so many stories of women being abducted, and some of them would remember being inseminated and would feel that they were pregnant, but they didn't have proof of it, and they would be told to forget it. The Orions could hypnotize the woman and tell her, "You will not remember this." And so she would carry the baby for 8 weeks. Then the Orions would come back, and this is an interesting thing that they could do. They could stop time. They would take the woman and take her to a spaceship or a laboratory behind the moon and harvest the baby. They would let the woman look at the baby or hold it for a few moments. Then they would take the baby and put it in suspended animation so that they were asleep, and put it to me it looked like a big pickle jar, and they would put it up on a shelf. Now they had warehouses with thousands of levels of shelves and jars of these babies. They would then take the baby whenever they needed a slave to do a certain job. They would take out a baby and have it grow to full term in approximately 2 to 3 years, and it would be able to do the job that the Orions wanted that baby to do. It would then be a young adult. And
that
so
just sounds awful. That baby had no love, no attention, no anything but a mind. What kind of a person would that turn out to be? I mean, that sounds cold.
Yes, the Orion
that sounds cruel.
Yes, it is. The Orion people they're not human. They're a creature, and they have a different society.
They don't respect a man or a woman, a male or a female, and that they might just as well be all one sex.
Yes, it's true, but that's the way it is. It's like animals here on Earth. Do cows respect the bull? No. Do kitties respect each other? I don't think so. They just look at you and walk on. It's an animal world.
Right.
It's not a human world.
Boy, that's a shocker. Oh my God!
It's hard to understand.
How do we fall in love then? I mean, how come something happened to us along the inherited way that we feel, the astral plane and the causal and the mental, all those, they go on up to finally be free. How could I don't understand from that on.
Well, one thing for sure, scientists here on Earth do not always reveal how the human mind or human body functions to the general population, because we're interested in other things. But scientists here, especially biologists, psychologists, psychiatrists, geneticists, all of these people work on studying the human body, emotion, brain, everything. And what happens for us, a lot of times you hear, you have to have the desire. When you meet the right person, you, recognize them in your brain first, or maybe you feel a feeling for them first. A lot of times it's hormonal. Our hormones control a lot of our lives. A woman has a hormonal change every month. Men have hormonal changes when they change from boyhood to young adult. All humans are very hormonal. They have great needs and desires. When a human boy or girl reaches puberty, things change. They start becoming interested in other things than playing with their toys.